I began to ask why my father did not introduce us to the Buddhist literature. After this, I was determined to ask my father this question. One day I did. I asked my father why he insisted upon our reading the Mahabharata and Ramayana, which recounted the greatness of the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas and repeated the stories of the degradation of the Shudras and the untouchables. My father did not like the question. He merely said, "You must not ask such silly questions. You are only boys. You must do as you are told." My father was a Roman patriarch and exercised most extensive patria potestas over his children. I alone could take a little liberty with him, and that was because my mother had died in my childhood, leaving me to the care of my auntie. So after some time, I asked again the same question. This time my father had evidently prepared himself for a reply. He said, "The reason why I ask you to read the Mahabharata and Ramayana is this. We belong to the untouchables, and you are likely to develop an inferiority complex, which is natural. The value of the Mahabharata and Ramayana lies in removing this inferiority complex. See, Drona and Karna, they were small men, but to what heights they rose. Look at Valmiki. He was a Koli, but he became the author of the Ramayana. It is for removing this inferiority complex that I ask you to read the Mahabharata and Ramayana." I could see that there was some force in my father's argument, but I was not satisfied. I told my father that I did not like any of the figures in the Mahabharata. I said, "I do not like Bhishma and Drona, nor Krishna. Bhishma and Drona were hypocrites. They said one thing and did quite the opposite. Krishna believed in fraud. His life is nothing but a series of frauds. Equal dislike I have for Rama. Examine his conduct in the Sarupnakha equals Shurpanakha episode and in the Vali Sugriva episode and his beastly behavior towards Sita." My father was silent and made no reply. He knew that there was a revolt. This is how I turned to the Buddha with the help of the book given to me by Dada Keluskar. It was not with an empty mind that I went to the Buddha at that early age. I had a background, and in reading the Buddhist lore, I could always compare and contrast. This is the origin of my interest in the Buddha and his Dhamma. The urge to write this book has a different origin. In 1951, the editor of the Mahabodhi Society's Journal of Calcutta asked me to write an article for the Vaishak number. In that article, I argued that the Buddha's religion was the only religion which a society awakened by science could accept, and without which it would perish. I also pointed out that for the modern world, Buddhism was the only religion which it must have to save itself. That Buddhism makes a slow advance is due to the fact that its literature is so vast that no one can read the whole of it. That it has no such thing as a Bible, as the Christians have, is its greatest handicap. On the publication of this article, I received many calls, written and oral, to write such a book. It is in response to these calls that I have undertaken the task. To disarm all criticism, I would like to make it clear that I claim no originality for the book. It is a compilation and assembly plant. The material has been gathered from various books. I would particularly like to mention Ashwaghosha's Buddhavita equals Buddha Charita, whose poetry no one can excel. In the narrative of certain events, I have even borrowed his language. The only originality that I can claim in equals is the order of presentation of the topics in which I have tried to introduce simplicity and clarity. There are certain matters which give headaches to the student of Buddhism. I have dealt with them in the introduction. It remains for me to express my gratitude to those who have been helpful to me. I am very grateful to Mr. Nanak Chand Ratua of village Sakruli and Mr. Prakash Chand of village Nangal Khurd in the district of Hoshiarpur, Punjab, for the burden they have taken upon themselves to type out the manuscript. They have done it several times. Shri Nanak Chand Ratu took special pains and put in very hard labor in accomplishing this great task. He did the whole work of typing, etc., very willingly and without caring for his health and equals or any sort of remuneration. Both Mr. Nanak Chand Ratu and Mr. Prakash Chand did their job as a token of their greatest love and affection towards me. Their labors can hardly be repaid. I am very much grateful to them. When I took up the task of composing the book, I was ill, and I am still ill. During these 5 years, there were many ups and downs in my health. At some stages, my condition had become so critical that doctors talked of me as a dying flame. The successful rekindling of this dying flame is due to the medical skill of my wife and Dr. Malvankar. They alone have helped me to complete the work. I am also thankful to Mr. M.B. Chitnis, who took a special interest in correcting the proof and to go equals in going through the whole book. I may mention that this is one of the 3 books which will form a set for the proper understanding of Buddhism. The other books are E. Buddha and Karl Marx and E. Revolution and Counter-Revolution in Ancient India. They are written out in parts. I hope to publish them soon.